I'm Colm with Agriland. I'm here with Seamus McMenamin of Bord Bia, who I hope will talk me through the year to date in the sheep trade. It has been a bit of an unusual year, Seamus. I think all sheep farmers would agree, and the prices that they've been seeing for lambs and for hogs throughout the year. But I suppose just going back to the start of the year, what kind of a crop of sheep did we see coming into the new year in 2024?
Yeah. Well, I suppose at the start of the year, it did sort of look like there was more sheep in the system, but it actually transpired the kill was to end up being back. The hogget kill was back by about 100,000 head. So I suppose that tighter supply situation then led to the very, very strong prices that we've seen in around Easter. We obviously had very tight supplies here and tight supplies north of the border and in England. So it obviously all then fed into a very, very strong trade just in around the Muslim festivals and around Easter. So, and that trend has sort of continued then as the year has gone on. We had quite a difficult lambing period in some parts, later lambing dates. The yoke flocks back by 3%, and it's all sort of fed into a smaller lamb crop. So even at the minute, we've probably seen a bit of an increase in the lamb kill in the last few weeks, but overall the spring lamb kills, so the 2024 born lambs, are back by about 80,000 head for the year to date. I suppose then it's been a difficult grass growing year too, and it's slowed down the supply of lambs, and the factories are very keen for fit lambs at the minute.
And just to go back to those prices that we were seeing earlier in the year, just to compare with previous years, what was the comparison with the highest, for example, like the hogget prices? What were we seeing them reach this year?
Yeah, like we were up in around the €9 a kilo mark, and previously, we've seen very good increases in the last few years. But I think the previous one was in around the €7 mark. So there were prices that were unprecedented really, and it was driven just purely by a firm demand and those tighter supplies.
So the spring lamb then, we were seeing reports of about €10 a kilo for spring lambs at some stages. That was also not expected really, was it?
Yeah, no, and it's just that whenever those early spring lambs come out, they were in such tight supply that there was real competition for them on the market. So we've seen we've seen obviously that continue just with the tightness in the lamb supply. Like if I look at the UK, like some of their weekly kills have been back like 10-12%, and that's driven, it kept a floor under our price, and also had the secondary impact of moving lambs from Northern Ireland across to GB, because they obviously qualify for the red tractor, and taking them out of our system, which is then further fed into the tight supply situation.
So we've seen those record prices, I suppose, earlier in the year. Where we are now, we're still ahead of last year's prices for the spring lamb. But yeah, the overall kill, it's about 180,000 lower, isn't it? The overall sheep kill. So just as we approach the last few months of 2024, the fewer lambs with the prices as they are, can we expect them maybe to stay steady, or what do you think, Seamus?
Yeah, no, I'd be relatively positive just about the sheep trade. We're in around the 730, 740 quoted price at the minute, and that's about €1 a kilo ahead of where we were last year. If I look at the European forecasts as to what they're looking at, they talked about a 5% decline over the whole year, but in the second half of the year in particular, that's where that decline is going to be, just with their production system as an earlier sort of lambing date. Who's then to our advantage as well? You look at Australia and New Zealand; they're seeing contracting flocks at the minute, and they're in their off season, so very, very tight supplies of lamb. So their prices are increasing and ours are holding stable. So it's really narrowed their competitiveness on the European markets, which is sort of setting us, working to our benefit. We've seen a bit of an increase in this volume of product coming in, but it tends to be frozen, cheaper product that's coming to Europe. But overall, I'd be relatively positive about the outlook for the rest of the year.
No, I wasn't going to put words in your mouth and ask if you're optimistic, but positive outlook, sure, I'm sure farmers will welcome that for the rest of the year anyway. But Seamus, thanks very much for speaking with us here at Agriland, and we'll head back to the Agriland tent.